Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. On today's video, is Terry McLaurin going to get paid or is he going to get traded? What's going on out at the practice field at training camp day 3? And why are these defensive stars making a name for themselves in the first week of practice? Hello everyone, my name is Grant Mitchell and we're here to talk about the Washington Commanders. Hopefully you figured that out by now from the intro and everything we got coming up in the video today. Before we dive into all of our news though, do me a favor guys, scroll down just a little bit, hit that like button. It really helps me get this video out and push it out into the algorithms. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you want to be locked in for daily content. That's right, daily content. I'm posting videos every single day where we talk about news headlines like the stadium deal, which is now scheduled for a vote in exactly 1 week. We react to training clips, talk about what to expect for the upcoming season, a whole bunch of great content. It's right here on the channel, so make sure you do hit that subscribe button. Also, I want to re-emphasize, as I've said in videos past, I don't record these just to talk to an empty wall behind the camera here. Now, I record these because I want to build a community. So as we go through here, everything I say, whether it's my opinion, whether it's a report, scroll down, go to the comment section, let me know what your thoughts are. I will be responding to everybody, and I would love to get you guys on video with me so that we can discuss as well. And like I said, really make this community. Okay, so let's jump into the big headlines of this video today. We're going to start with Terry McLaurin, and not that this is a unique topic that nobody is discussing. It's actually been quite opposite, the hottest topic in town this summer. But I want to talk about Terry with a little bit of a twist, because one of the biggest stories of the first 2 days of practice, which was Wednesday and Thursday, was the play of undrafted free agent wide receiver Ja'Corey Brooks. Now, if you haven't heard of Ja'Corey Brooks, well, like I said, he was undrafted. He wasn't very heralded coming out of the draft. But going into it, as someone who did a lot of draft evaluations and read up on what a bunch of scouts and experts had to say, a lot of people said, hey, keep an eye on Ja'Corey Brooks here. And then when he wasn't drafted and the Commanders signed him as a UDFA, it was, okay, yeah, keep an eye on this kid. And through those first 2 days of practice, it was like, whoa, Ja'Corey Brooks is turning heads. Now, good news here. The Commanders already have him under a 3-year contract for only $3 million. According to some reports, he was the only player to catch multiple touchdowns on Wednesday and Thursday at training camp. So with McLaurin gone, there is an increase in the availability of reps for everyone to go around, and Ja'Corey Brooks is making good on those. And he is a little bit different from players. He's actually very different from your Luke McCaffreys and your Jaylen Lanes, in that if those guys don't have great rookie seasons, like McCaffrey caught less than 200 yards last year, Jaylen Lane, we'll see what his role is. Or if those guys don't look amazing in practice, well, they were 3rd and 4th round draft picks. They're not really at risk of being cut. Ja'Corey Brooks, a UDFA, forget about it. We'll cut him tomorrow and not think twice about it. So the fact that he's stepping up early and he's entered with this determination and mindset. I also saw a video of him staying after practice yesterday to get reps with Josh Johnson and Marcus Mariota. So the fact that he has come in so aggressively and attacked this and taken advantage of his opportunities, and he's also staying late at practice to, again, just prove himself in every way. I love that, especially with Terry McLaurin not being there. And we'll get to the Terry side of it in just a second. But some more information on Ja'Corey Brooks here. I've seen him listed everywhere from 6'1 to 6'3. He's tall. I guess that's what matters here. We can call him 6'2. And you know what? 6'2 is a good size for a receiver. He did 3 years at Alabama, really only played a bunch in one of those years. That was his sophomore year, where he had 39 receptions for 674 yards. That's 17 yards per catch. That's really good. 8 touchdowns as well. Junior year, doesn't play a whole lot at Bama. He transfers to Louisville for his senior year, catches 61 balls for 1,000 yards, 16.5 yards per carry, again, yards per catch, again, a very strong number, and 9 touchdowns. So if we are just isolating those 2 seasons, his junior year, he only caught 3 passes. So let's isolate the sophomore and senior seasons. He has exactly 100 catches for 1,680 yards and 17 touchdowns. Split that in half. The average of the 2 seasons, 50 catches for 800 yards and 8.5 touchdowns. Really good numbers. Now again, he was a UDFA, But that doesn't mean that he didn't enter with strong pedigree. Again, coming from Alabama, he knows what it's like to train as a professional. That's probably why he's attacked training camp in the way that he has. Also, he wasn't drafted because his testing numbers weren't the best, and he's a little slight of frame. You know, he's 6'2", 6'3", whatever we're calling him, 195 pounds. So there's room for the frame to be bigger and bulkier. He's not A.J. Brown just because he's tall. But he has impressed at the college level, and he's impressing already in training camp, which is a great sign transitioning over to the Terry side of things with Terry not being there. This really gives the Commanders two avenues to attack here. Number one, if Terry McLaurin does not come down from his demands, whatever they are, we've heard he wants at least $30 million per year, whether that's 32, 33, 35, 38, whatever the number is. If McLaurin refuses to come down, and Adam Peters in the front office say, hey, Terry, look, we love you. We are incredibly thankful for your services and your contributions, but we can't pay you this if we're trying to make the Commanders contenders 4 years to come in the future, not just this 1 year. Well, if Ja'Cory Brooks can step in and give you solid production as the X or the Z receiver, wherever he lines up, at 6'3", you'd think he would be the X. Well, then you're not feeling the full effects of McLaurin. And I'm not saying that Ja'Cory Brooks as a rookie UDFA will be prime Terry McLaurin. But if it's not a massive drop-off, and if you still have a respectable player at that X spot, then all of a sudden you've just freed up $30 million in cap space. Think about what we're talking about right here. So McLaurin wants a long-term extension. Let's call that 3 to 4 years. The Commanders also have the opportunity to go down the route where they essentially lock him up to a 3-year deal starting right now. The path to that is Terry's on the final year of his deal right now. They could franchise tag him next year, franchise tag him again. So the Commanders effectively have him on a 3-year deal right now. If Terry gets this long-term extension, let's call it $30 million per year. If the Commanders go the franchise tag route, Terry's going to make just less than $20 million this year. It would be $27 million next year, according to franchise tag estimates, and $33 million the year after. So you would have him on a 3-year, $27 million deal, essentially. Again, 20 this year, 27 next year, 33 the year after. You compare that to Ja'Cory Brooks, who gives you 3 years at $3 million total. Again, not saying Ja'Cory Brooks will give you prime McLaurin production, but if the drop-off is not that severe, and we're talking about the difference of saving $30 million per year, well, you can reinvest that money into different areas. And maybe all of a sudden you got money to go try to get Micah Parsons or just whatever big name is on the market. Maybe it's Malik Neighbors, because I don't think he doesn't seem to me like he's thrilled to be in New York. And we know that he's Jayden's best friend. You've got all these different avenues that you could attack by saving this $30 million. On the flip side of that, if the McLaurin contract does get done and he comes back, well, now you've got McLaurin at 5'11", 6 foot, however tall we want to call him. We know the incredible player he is with his contested catches and deep ball tracking, but now you've got a vertical threat who at 6'3" is not going to burn you, but he's a jump ball threat, and he's produced at the college level, he's produced in training camp, and he's already forming a connection with Jayden Daniels. You add that on top of Debo, who is a proven Z or slot receiver, Jalen Lane, who's your speedster. Luke McCaffrey had a great day of training camp at day 3. He was a 3rd-round pick. You got hopes for him. Noah Brown is a very good possession receiver. Zach Ertz said that Michael Gallup still has a lot of juice left in the tank. He's a proven veteran. The Commanders' receiver room may have just gone from arguably the weakest room on the team to one of the deepest with the most competition. And it's all because of this one undrafted free agent. You know, this is something that the Commanders aren't used to. They're not used to finding diamonds in the rough. They're not used to getting superior value for their picks. They only had 5 picks in this draft. So for them to have potentially found a legitimate contributor on the scrap heap, essentially, could completely change the complexion of this season. And honestly, I don't think Adam Peters is basing his McLaurin contract negotiations on Ja'Cory Brooks at training camp. But it wouldn't surprise me if he's at least keeping an eye open, keeping his ears peeled to whatever's going out on the field, because he's a great general manager. I would assume that anyway. But this kid, man, the reports say that he has been cooking out there. So I'm excited to see it. Speaking of someone or some people who are cooking as well, day 3 on Friday, it was a slow day for the offense. It was a really good day for the defense. Now, I want to start by saying this. You heard Aaron Rodgers talk about throwing his first pass of training camp was an interception. He said, I got it out of the way. I don't mind. In fact, in some ways, I kind of like my quarterback throwing interceptions during training camp, at least in the early phases, because I want you to try things. And if they don't work, okay, maybe the play comes out of the playbook. I'm not comfortable with that route combination. I'm not comfortable with this progression. Or I just put on some muscle like Jayden Daniels. I put on some muscle in my arms during the offseason, so I'm going to see if I can fit the ball in the tight window. And if I couldn't, okay, then I'm not going to try it again. I'm cool with all of that. I say all this to say that before people freak out, Jayden Daniels threw 3 interceptions at training camp today. One of them was a deflected pass. One of them was a miscommunication in the route. Marcus Mariota also threw an interception. So Mariota threw his pick to Tyler Owens. Jayden threw his to Bobby Wagner. Okay, here's the exciting part. Mike Sainristil still and Trey Amos. So you got your second year and your rookie corner coming up and making plays already. And this for me, again, I'm not worried about Jayden. I saw what Jayden Daniels was for an entire NFL season as a rookie. I'm fine with that. I don't care if he's throwing interceptions right now. I'm excited by the defense recording those interceptions. Because again, my quarterback can try stuff. I'm cool with that. But defense is reactionary. Think about just the way that sports work. The offense attacks. The defense's job is to defend. So they have to react to what's coming to them. So while my quarterback might be trying something new, the defense still has to react to it and they still have to respond. For them to have Mike Sainristil, who we all look at as a guy who's an up-and-comer and someone we expect to be on this defense for the next 10 years, and Trey Amos, who might just be cornerback 1 if the talk leads to anything, with Marshawn Lattimore not looking his best the last time we saw him. For those guys to come up and just make plays. I think that's the biggest thing here. Just make plays. Because the Commanders' defense last season, it was solid in spurts. It was mostly pretty porous, and they didn't make a bunch of plays. Interceptions, fumbles, sacks, there just wasn't a ton of defensive playmaking. So to see the change in that already happening day 3 on the practice field of July, that really says a lot to me. We've heard Joe Witt Jr. say, ever since he got hired, the ball is life. We want to prioritize the ball. We want to attack the ball. We want to take it back. You look at the addition of Von Miller. In his press conference, I don't think it's a coincidence that he talked about producing the football. Get to the quarterback, sack, strip sack, recover the fumble, scoop and score, touchdown. There's a communal agreement that the central focus is forcing turnovers. And I want the Commanders to be aggressive because if you look at how they're built, they are equipped for it right now. A lot of people were not overly enthused by the offseason signings, specifically on the defensive front. But what I can take away from the Commanders' front office moves is they want to win the first 2 downs, the running downs. They want to get the defense into 3rd and medium, 3rd and long. They want to get after the quarterback with Von Miller and Javon Kinlaw and some of these other guys they have, Dorrance Armstrong, Cleveland Farrell, even Johnny Newton can be a speed rusher from the interior. And they want to trust these corners. They want to put them in man coverage and say, Trey Amos, Marshawn Lattimore, Mike Sainristil, go get the ball if it comes your way. And that's really the identity that the Commanders wanted to have. They tried. They had to protect too many areas of the defense. And at a certain point, if nobody can protect themselves, then how are you going to protect each other? That seems to have changed this year. There's more variability. There's more multiplicity. And with Trey Amos being 6'1", fast, strong, experienced from all his years at Alabama and Ole Miss. I say all his years, it was 2 years each. He started at, I believe, Louisiana. But the point being, a guy with experience, and you're starting to see it pay off already. And that really excites me. Do I think there's still areas of improvement? Sure. I would like to see, I've talked about the second-year guys. I would like to see Jordan McGee and Dominique Hampton bring their speed out onto the field. I would love to see if Kane Medrano, is he an edge rusher? Is he a safety? Is he in the middle and a linebacker? We don't know. He can line up in different spots, but what's he actually going to do well? I would love to see all of that, but you have to find your cornerstone pieces. And with Trey Amos and Mike Sainer still, it seems like they have two of those guys. Johnny Newton has a good chance to be another, and we'll see what develops throughout the rest of training camp. But guys, that is going to do it for this video. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Before you click off, again, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. Go to the comment section. Let me know what you think. Is Terry McLaurin getting paid? If so, how much per year? I'll be responding to everybody. As always, I'll catch you in the next one. Have a great day.